Hello there, friends, and welcome back to Elaborations with Skellington Grin. I'm Ava, your witchy goth big sis, here to talk a little truth, share a little lived experience, and maybe sprinkle in a laugh or two as we gently roast ourselves in this episode. I know I'm going to roast myself a little bit, so feel free. Because today we are diving into something that sneaks into every aspect of our lives. We're going to be talking about what we consume. And I don't just mean food, even though we're going to talk about that too. I want to broaden our horizons when we think about what we consume, to talk about music, movies, TV shows, books, social media, because every little thing we let in shapes who we ultimately are. And if you've grown up, like me, living in the South or anywhere in the world, you have most likely heard some variation of the phrase, "you are what you eat." And I want to stretch that further, because you are what you consume. Every thought, every sound, every bite we take, every story we watch, every time we go on Instagram and start doom scrolling, it all weaves together, shaping our mind, body, emotions, and energy. So let's start with the obvious one, food, because this one's the most obvious and the one that we mostly think about when we talk about what we consume. Maybe you love a Burger King Whopper with fries and a milkshake. Or maybe your jam is Wendy's spicy nuggets with fries and a Frosty. Believe me, I do too. I love my little fry and Frosty combo. I've always loved that ever since I was a kid. And it's totally valid, because life is for enjoyment and indulgence is never really a crime. But when fast food or heavy carbs or sugary drinks and sugary foods become your daily fuel, your body starts talking to you in different ways. Maybe you begin to feel more sluggish, or your energy crashes mid-afternoon and you want to take a little siesta. Nothing wrong with that, but it depends on how you actually feel afterwards. And maybe you also start noticing breakouts, brain fog, or more frequent colds and susceptibility to getting sick more often, because your immune system is fighting everything that your body is trying to do. Your body is trying to digest what you've eaten, but your immune system is saying, hey, we can't really process what you just did, and now we're going to get sick because of it. When this happens, your body is nudging you towards balance, because your body is craving something more nutrient dense, energizing, and sustaining. And before we go any further, I want to reassure you that this isn't a lecture. This isn't about guilt or punishment. This is a conversation that invites more awareness into your day-to-day life. Because noticing how food affects your energy and mood allows you to make choices that help you thrive instead of simply surviving. Because sometimes life already feels like juggling flaming swords while balancing on a tightrope over a pool of snapping alligators. And yeah, that might be a little far-fetched, but you know what I mean. Life is already sometimes full of internal and external stressors. And when we're not conscious of how frequently we're eating things that might be quick, fast, and easy, and how that actually affects our bodies, we add to that stress. Now let's zoom out, because the same principle applies to what you consume mentally, emotionally, and when it comes to what you watch and what you read and what you interact with outside of just eating. Do you love horror movies? Awesome. Because I know I do. I am like a kid in a candy store when Spirit Halloween opens, and I might leave that store with Ghostface pajamas, a Trick or Treat Sam animatronic, because one of my favorite movies will always be Trick or Treat. I might leave with a Jason Voorhees backpack purse and a spooky little costume stash. And I go buck wild. I really do. And I love indulging in watching the Scream franchise once a year. But if you notice constant anxiety, restlessness, or low energy after a binge watch of nothing but horror movie after horror movie, and you start getting to the point where the same horror movies that you used to love don't thrill you anymore, and you're looking for darker horror movies. Hello, Terrifier. I see you right there in the corner. And no shade on Terrifier. I know it's a big hit right now, especially for horror movie junkies. But it's one of the ones that I'm staying away from because it's just a little too much for me. But I do recognize the art behind it, pun intended. But going back to how you feel after that binge watch, that is your cue to maybe invite a palate cleanser. Maybe watch something that isn't a horror movie. Maybe watch a horror movie that might be a little bit lower bar, that might be a little spooky, but not really creepy or terrifying or nauseating or going to make you feel anxious. You know, maybe watch something that is lighter and gives you a gentler experience for your nervous system. Whether that's a comedy film, nostalgic Disney movies, or even reading a cheesy TikTok popular rom-com book. Because sometimes that's exactly what your system needs, a bit of comfort, joy, or grounding when it's frazzled. And full disclosure, I'm deep in that rom-com vibe myself right now. I actually wound up recently borrowing a book on Hoopla, which is a library app here in the States. For those of you who are listening in other countries, if you're unfamiliar, we have several library apps here in the States that you can buy a library card. Well, not buy a library card, but you can sign up for a library card at your local library. And you can download these apps on your phone that will connect to that library card so that you can check out ebooks, audiobooks, whatever, from this little library app. And if it's available, you'll be able to check it out and just sync your library card to it. You won't even have to leave your house. It's amazing. But I just checked out one that's like a little cheesy rom-com, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to indulge in this a little bit because I want something light and fluffy. But the point still stands. It's a palate cleanser from reading a lot of dark romance, because I'm a dark romance girly, and reading a lot of high romantasy, which is romance fantasy. You know, like, come on, I need a little bit of a breather sometimes. I like what I like to read, but sometimes I need me a little bit of a breather. And music works the same way. If your playlists are stuck on angry, sad, or moody tracks without a balance of uplifting or calming music, you may be reinforcing emotions that you want to move through, but you don't exactly feel ready to heal. And mindful consumerism isn't about policing yourself. It's simply about noticing energy patterns and intentionally working to balance them. For example, another thing that I might do is I might listen to Sleep Token one moment and then switch to old Maroon 5 or Jason Mraz. I might watch Scream for the 100th time and then follow it up with Mean Girls for a palate cleanser. The point is that when you do things like that, you're creating feedback loops that support you rather than constantly drain you. So here are some gentle questions to hold. And feel free to write this down in a notebook or write it in your notes on your phone. Is what I'm consuming feeding me or draining me? And what energy am I carrying because of this? By tuning into these questions, you allow yourself the chance to build a healthy relationship with everything that you consume. And I highly encourage you to mix it up. Give yourself palate cleansers, alternate music genres, watch something light after watching something intense, and notice how your body reacts to different meals. Allow yourself to indulge without guilt, but always indulge with awareness. Because balancing life is about holding awareness and integrating your wholeness into your identity. And we'll talk more about that in future episodes about integrating wholeness, but for now, we're going to leave it here. But before we fully close out this episode, let's try a short grounding meditation. This is for those moments when you feel weighed down by what you consume. You're feeling stressed, you're feeling grief, you're feeling anger, or any kind of mental clutter. Allow yourself to pause the episode if you need to so that you can come back to this at a later time, especially if you're listening to this while you're driving. Please don't meditate while you're driving. Or if you're listening to this at the office and you want to be able to just come back to this at the end of your day when you get home, feel free to pause the episode here and tune back in later. But if you are already ready, go ahead and get comfy, whether that's sitting or lying down, and let's begin. Let's begin by taking a deep breath in through the nose and slowly exhaling. Now breathe in again for a count of 4. And imagine that you are drawing in calm, steady energy. Allow it to fill your chest and belly. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. And when we exhale, we're going to exhale for a count of 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. And as I take you through this meditation, go ahead and breathe in that way for a few moments. And as you breathe in this way, notice your points of contact. Whether you're sitting on the ground or you're sitting in a chair, whether your feet are touching the ground, whether you're lying on your back on a yoga mat or simply lying on the carpeted floor, or even if you're laying in bed right now. Feel your points of contact with the ground, or the chair, or the bed. And what I want you to do is imagine gentle roots growing from your body, anchoring you deep into the earth and grounding you similarly to a tree. Now, with each inhale cycle, I want you to draw nourishment and strength from the earth. And with each exhale, I want you to focus on releasing what no longer serves you. Your worries, your heaviness, any energy drains. Yes, I know life can be stressful. And this meditation isn't meant to really make you forget anything. That's not what meditation is for. It is to help you observe and become aware while still grounding yourself. Okay? And if your mind wanders, gently return it to your breath and the feeling of being grounded. Allow yourself to observe the thoughts that are coming through your mind. Kind of like if you were laying in the grass on a blanket, or even just laying in the grass, and you were watching the clouds roll by. Observe your thoughts the same way that you would observe clouds. Now, whether or not you have your eyes closed or you have your eyes open, I want you to, it might actually be better if you do close your eyes if you have them open. So if your eyes are open, go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to picture a soft cleansing light flowing from above and entering through the crown of your head. Now this light is going to continue moving through your body, filling you with clarity and peace. So focus on bringing this light into the crown of your head, then moving to your forehead and the middle of your forehead, which would be your third eye chakra. Feel it move behind your eyelids, your cheekbones, down the slope of your nose, over your lips and mouth, your chin, then moving down through your neck and shoulders and into your chest. Feel it settle for a moment in your heart space. Hold this light in your heart space and let it just stay there for a few breaths. Then bring the awareness of this light slowly down your arms, over your wrists and hands. Then back into the body, over your diaphragm and your stomach, over your hips, your tailbone, down through your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, down through your feet. And everywhere this light touches, allow it to wash away any mental clutter and emotional weight. And go ahead and stay here for a few breaths. I'll give you a minute. All right, now, whenever you feel ready, gently wake up the body and bring yourself back to the room around you. Start with wiggling the fingers and toes. Maybe do some light stretching. Find some organic movement. Shake out your shoulders, roll them back, roll them forward. Find some organic movement in the lower body, maybe working out the hips a little bit. And then slowly open your eyes. And as you refocus on your surroundings and bring yourself back to the world around you, I invite you to carry this calm with you throughout the rest of your day, your evening, your night. If you're an international listener and it may be morning for you, go ahead and carry this throughout the rest of your day. And allow this calm to be your anchor. And feel free to come back to this meditation whenever you want. You can come back to this full episode anytime you need the reminder, or you can simply skip ahead to this meditation. And as always, thank you for sharing this space with me. And if this episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with someone you love who might need it, and subscribe so you never miss any more real talk and soulful guidance. Also, feel free to check the podcast description for links to follow me on Instagram and everywhere else I share my work, from tarot readings to other spiritual services designed to support your growth. And remember, what you consume shapes you. So choose with awareness, choose with kindness, and choose with balance. Until next time, stay grounded, stay sovereign, stay soulful, and keep growing. This has been Elaborations with Skellington Grin. I'll see you next time. Bye.